Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Jim Berry. I am a candidate for the Horry County School Board representing District 8 in the June 14th, 2022 primary. And this is going to be the second of my Candy Chats, with whoever wants to take the time to watch these presentations. And today I want to focus on the first of my 5 pillars that are basically directing my campaign or my campaign platform. And today I want to focus on student achievement and assessment. Obviously, as a school board representative, our students and their achievement and success beyond school should be one of our priorities as a school board member and as a school board and as a school in general. So I wanted to take some time just briefly today to kind of go over my philosophy about student achievement, where I think we are or where we actually are in Horry County schools compared to the largest school districts in the state. Talk a little bit about where we rank nationally with our high schools, which honestly is kind of disappointing, and spend a little bit of time at the end talking about the ways that I think that we can maybe improve our student achievement moving forward if I am successful in my bid to become your representative to District 8 on the school board. So with that in mind, I'd like to share a screen with you so that I can kind of go over this material. And you should see me someplace in here as well. And I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this screen for you so that you can see it. And again, I want to focus today on academic achievement and where we stand in Horry County. And again, some ideas and things that comments that I have regarding this. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, some general thoughts. We know that what happens in the classroom in terms of organization, intervention, activities, and so on, that all of these things are proposed by teachers. There are a lot of other factors that go into this, and all of them also have a critical value for the improvement of academic performance and success of all our students. And everything that I'm going to pretty much talk about here, at least in the first part of this, or actually in the entire part of the presentation, is based on information that I've obtained through some of the recent research and journal information. So this particular statement that I have quoted here actually comes from Arnaz Sanchez et al. And appeared in Frontiers in Psychology in 2020. Additionally, Sanchez and their colleagues in Frontiers of Psychology note that traditionally, the improvement of student academic performance has been focused on 3 main components, and those are personal characteristics or individual factors such as a person's intelligence, the contextual factors or improvement of the educational environment, such as school improvement. What are we doing in the schools to improve academic achievement as well as other things? And then factors related to one's self-beliefs, understanding of their self, and the environment, okay, such as responsibilities, mentality, personal experiences, so on. So all of these things go into determining how successful someone is going to be, how much they're going to achieve as a student in our schools. So based upon those little tidbits of information from the Frontiers in Psychology research and documentation, it's really, really important for educators, instructional leaders, and school districts to clearly identify what factors contribute to the effective functioning of our schools, all right, from the point of view of student academic performance. So we need to consider all of these things when we look at student achievement. And that's not to say that our folks here in Horry County are not already doing that, but it's to remind all of us that these are the factors that should be considered when we look at student achievement. What are the things we're doing well? What are the things that we maybe should look at improving? And we need to make sure that we're identifying those. And because I haven't been in the thick of it from the standpoint of being a school board member or being someone involved with our district level administration and the folks that do curriculum at the district level, and a limited amount even at the school level, I'm certainly going to do more work to try to discover what are we doing well in our district and what are some things that we need to do better. And I will continue to work on discovering that information for my own good, but also for my constituents as well. Because I will say that I don't think as a school district, we always do a good job of letting our public and even letting our teachers know what are we doing well, what are we not doing so well, and how do we go about resolving those issues. So it's not a one size fits all process. And I want you to remember that because that's going to come into play towards the end of this presentation. This has got to be very specific or needs to be very specific to our particular school district, the needs of our students, the needs of our community, the type of community we live in, the types of businesses and opportunities that are available to our students in this area. All right, and it should be specific to our school district. So what might work in Georgetown County, what might work in Marion County, what might work in Florence County may not work in Horry County because of these factors that I've discussed. So let's just take a couple minutes here to look at academic achievement. And what I did was, as a candidate, I was interested to see how Horry County Schools sized up against the other schools in our state. And obviously, we have a lot of school districts. We have a lot of schools, literally hundreds, if not over 1,000 different schools at the different levels. I would assume. I don't know the exact numbers. Probably should look into that, and maybe I will. But I did want to look at the three biggest school districts in our state, which Horry County is one of those. We are the third largest school district in the state behind Charleston County and Greenville County. So I wanted to take a look at how we size up against the other two largest school districts in our state. And I looked at some specific things. I went into the State Department website and pulled down some statistics, the latest ones being from the 2020-21 school year. Now, let me just point out a little caveat here to be fair to our school district and also to the other school districts that I'm talking about. We all know that we have been in COVID times for the last 2 years. We're gradually working our way out of that now, thankfully. So these numbers aren't necessarily as representative as they may be or could be if we hadn't been in COVID times the last 2 years. But I still think that they are valuable in looking at how Horry County Schools stacks up against the other school districts, the other two largest school districts in our state. So when we look at overall academic achievement, you can see here, I know it is kind of hard to see, but overall, Horry County ranks at about 48.9% in overall student performance in English and language arts. And again, what's interesting about all of these, we are pretty much even with the other two large school districts in the state. If you look at Charleston County, they're at 49.1, the school district of Greenville County at about 50% with their SC ready English language arts mathematics overall, and specifically English language arts, reading and writing. If we look at mathematics, again, very close. Charleston's at 46%, school district of Greenville 44%, and Horry County at 45%. So again, very close. We're very much in line with the two other large school districts in the state. If we look at end of course assessments in English 1 and Algebra 1, Horry County does a little bit better than Greenville and Charleston County, which I think is great. We're at about 70.5% there in English, students scoring C or higher. When we look at algebra, scoring C or higher, we did much better than Charleston and Greenville, all the way up to 61% versus 54 and 49. So again, we're sitting pretty much in line with the two other largest school districts in the state, but overall, we still aren't seeing the achievement levels that I would like to see for our district. I would like to see those numbers up closer to 75, 80%. And we need to continue to work on that. If we look at graduation rate, again, very, very similar among the three different school districts. Horry County Schools rate up around 82%. A little bit below Greenville and Charleston, who both sit at 84%, which I think is, again, very, very good. 82% is certainly acceptable. But again, I think we should always be reaching for the ultimate goal of 100%, which probably is never going to be achievable. But I think that we can get up to 85 or 90% if we continue to work on this. If we look at the trends across the board, 2018, 2019, 2021, if we look at Horry County, we have actually been pretty stable. We got a little bit better in 2019, 2020, and then again in 2021, we dropped off. If you look at the overall rates for 2021, again, we're just a little bit below the two largest school districts. All right. So let's look at graduation rate there. Excuse me. If we look at college and career ready, very, very important. Our students, again, this is an area that I think we really need to work on. Our students, our community, our businesses, our industries, they are looking for workers that are ready to come out of school, ready to work. Colleges are looking for students that are ready to be moving on to the post high school level and to be successful in high school, or excuse me, in college. So if we look at this, again, generally pretty close. Charleston County is quite a bit better than Horry County, about 10%, same for Greenville County. So we have some work to do when it comes to students in the graduation cohort that are college ready. Only about 1 in 3 are really considered to be college ready. We need to improve that. Students in graduation cohort who are career ready, a little bit better. We see that our students here in Horry County, about 2/3 of them are considered to be career ready. That's a little bit better than Greenville County and Charleston County. And again, I think that that's reflective of the community and the environment and the industries that we have in our area. We are largely a service-oriented system here in Horry County. And I think that because of that, that's the direction we often push a lot of our high school graduates to go into. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. I would like for our students to be able to pursue all of their dreams and be ready for whatever they pursue or whatever they would like to do, be that going directly into the workforce out of high school or going on to college. So my interpretation of this is that we need to work a little bit more on making sure our students are college ready. We're doing a pretty good job making sure they're career ready. All right, if we look at college or career ready, either or, you can see again that Horry County does a little bit better than the other two large districts in the state. About 68% of our students are college or career ready, with the majority of them being much better or much more career ready than they seem to be college ready. If we look at the graduation cohort who are college and career ready, again, that drops down significantly to 34% for Horry County Schools. And again, almost 9% or right around 9% lower than Charleston County and a little bit higher than Greenville County. So we're doing a pretty good job making our students potentially career ready. Not such a great job, I don't think, when we get them and ready for college. So these are some issues that we need to look at and focus on. And I'm very, very positive that the folks that are responsible for this in the school district are doing that. But again, it's part of the board's responsibility to provide the resources and support necessary to do that. And I certainly am interested in doing that as well. All right, so if we look at preparing for success and overall student performance, and again, we're looking at the district comparison, overall student performance, again, fairly consistent across the board as one of the 3 largest school districts in the state. We're at about 51.2. Greenville's a little bit higher than us, and then Charleston sits about 3 percentage points below us. When we look at end of course assessments for biology and history and the Constitution, we have done a great job in Horry County. We are nearly 10%, or actually more than 10% higher than Charleston County, and about 6%, 7% higher than Greenville County. So our teachers are doing a really good job getting our students well taught, well prepared in the areas of biology, U.S. history, and the Constitution. But we need to do better. 62% is not acceptable in my opinion. We need to be up around 75, 80% or even higher. Those are the goals that we should be looking for. If we look at U.S. history and Constitution scoring a C or higher, we look at this, and again, pretty even across the board. Again, Horry County has done just a little bit better than the other two large school districts in the county or in the state. So we are doing well or equally as well compared to the other two large school districts in the state. But 46%, under half of our students taking those tests, getting a C or better. We need to do better. We need to be pushing towards 80% on all of these tests. So there's definitely work yet to be done. All right, when we look at overall student performance, percentage of students enrolling in kindergarten and to learn, Horry County Schools is right at the bottom here with this at 24.8%. Okay, so we need to do a better job of working with the community, working with our partners in the community to try to improve the preparation of our pre-K students so that when they enter into our school district, they are entering in with all of the tools that they need to be able to be successful as they continue their academic career. If we look at domains, social foundation, none of that data is available. And if we look at language and literacy, again, Horry County sits down at the bottom at about 30%. If we look at mathematics, again, we're at the bottom at about 26%. Physical well-being, that data is not available. And then if we look at some of the other factors there, first and second grade students on track for success in ELA and math, we can see that Greenville County did not have data available. When we look at our comparison with Charleston County, we do see that in all of the areas, with the exception of first grade who are on track to successful in math at the second grade level, and students are on track for success in English language arts in the second grade, we fall a little bit below Charleston County. So my interpretation is that when we get our students into kindergarten, our teachers are doing a really good job of improving the overall percentage of students that go from not necessarily being ready for academic instruction and improving that in the first couple of years of school. But we're already in a situation where we have students that are starting school in a negative. They're not necessarily ready to go when they start school. So we're having to spend time making up time for things that students should have known when they entered into the school already. So we have to find ways to make our students, especially 5- and 6-year-olds, more ready for school academically, and so on, in my opinion. All right, if we look at ELL learners, English language arts, or excuse me, English language learners, English as a second language, I believe Horry County has done a really good job with this. I know there's been, having worked in the schools, this has been a great emphasis in our schools, making sure they have the support that they need to be successful in our schools. If you look at the overall percentages here across the board compared to the other two large school districts, Horry County does quite a bit better. It's still very low at 35%, but we're doing better than the other two large school districts in the state. And I think that speaks to the commitment that Horry County has attempted to make sure that our English language learners are being successful. But again, much more work to be done as we look at that. If we look at the proficiency, if we look at progress toward proficiency and so on here in Horry County, 35.6% made progress. out of 2452 that were assessed, and so on. So again, only about a third of our students are being successful. That's better than what we're seeing in the two other large districts in the state, but still not where we need to be. If we're going to allow these students to be successful and move out into the community as workers and successful citizens, we need to continue to strive to do better in that area. So how do our high schools rank in our state? It's interesting that I saw a post today prior to recording this where a parent was speaking about how many colleges look at the high school rankings from the U.S. News and World Report and considering whether or not they're going to accept a student into their particular school. Now, I don't know how true that is based upon what the parent said. The parent indicated that that was information that they received from a college admissions counselor. Again, that's just one college admission counselor at one college. Whether or not that's true across the board for all colleges, I do not know. I certainly would be interested in learning more about that, and perhaps I will. But it did motivate me to go ahead and take a look at where our high schools in Horry County sit, at least in regards to these rankings put out by U.S. News and World Report. And I wasn't particularly interested in the national rankings as much as I was where our high schools ranked in the state with the hundreds of high schools that we have in the state, 120, 150, between 120 and 150 high schools in the state, if you count in charter high schools and so on. So this is what I found. Carolina Forest is the #1 school in Horry County, and they rank 23rd best in South Carolina. So we only have one high school in our state that is in the top 25 high schools in the U.S. News and World Report rankings, which takes a lot of different factors into effect. It takes ACT scores, SAT scores, average GPAs, number of graduates, all kinds of different data factors, data points are considered in doing these rankings. And you can certainly go to U.S. News and World Report if you'd like to see what those specific rankings are. St. James is 24th best, so I just misspoke. I apologize. We actually have two high schools in the top 25. St. James is the 24th best high school. After that, Green Sea Floyd's comes in third in our county at 30th best in South Carolina. Socastee is 33rd, Ainers 42nd, North Myrtle Beach is 48th, HCS Early College is 58th, which was kind of surprising to me. Myrtle Beach is 60th, and Conway is 105th, and then Loris is 116th. So we do have 8 of our 10 high schools in the top 100 in the state, but I would like to see all of our high schools be in the top 50. That obviously is a big ask, but I think that it's something that we can continue to work at and serve as a goal for our faculty and staff, and also for our district level administration and for our school board. We should strive to want to be the best. We talk in Horry County, we hear our leadership in Horry County talk about how we are the best. We try to be the best, but the data doesn't necessarily support that particular boast. So I think we need to continue to work on setting high goals for our schools, for our students, for our faculty and staff, for our district administration, and also for our school board. I would like to see all 10 of these schools rank in the top 50 in the future. So let me wrap up now with a couple of thoughts on professional development. Professional development as a longtime teacher and educator, 33 years experience, has been something that, quite honestly, I have not always found to be of particular value to me. In many cases, and I'm being very honest here, I thought a lot of the professional development that I was required to attend was a waste of my time. I didn't learn anything. It didn't tell me anything that I basically didn't already know from other experiences or from my own personal educational experiences and so on. So I think it's important that when we talk about student achievement, when we talk about student success, our success, we need to understand and take into account, again, because this is one of those factors that I talked about at the beginning of this presentation that impacts our student achievement. So again, using the data, using the information from the literature, from the folks that have studied this, Gore et al. In 2021 in Teaching and Teacher Education noted that the impact of professional development is inconsistent and evidence of its effects is often contradictory. So what they're saying here is that we send teachers to professional development. We have them, we spend several days each year, somewhere around 7-8 days here in Horry County, sending our students to professional development. And when the researchers, the people that study this stuff actually look at it, what they have found is that the impact of professional development on the ability of teachers to improve student achievement and student success is actually very inconsistent, and a lot of times contradictory to what we're actually trying to accomplish in our schools when it comes to student achievement and success. The research has also shown that a large majority of PD programs that emphasize curriculum content, active learning opportunities for teachers over extended periods of time, integration of knowledge and skills, as well as opportunities for feedback, reflection, and collaboration have been underwhelming and demonstrating positive effects on student outcomes. And again, this is from the same work that Gore et al. Published in 2021. So my question is, why are we spending so much time and money on professional development programs that the research seems to show are not effective in allowing teachers to become better at improving student success and achievement? This is something that we need to consider when we look at professional development for our faculty and staff. Are we really getting the bang for our buck? Or are there other things that we can do to improve student achievement through professional development opportunities for our teachers? To that end, I'd like to see the following as a board member. First of all, less emphasis on formal, large group professional development for teachers, and more of an emphasis on programs like quality teaching rounds. Quality teaching rounds is something that's been around for a few years. There are different programs and different presentations out there. We've done a little bit of that in my school and had an opportunity to go around and see how other teachers that are very successful in the classroom do what they do. I believe personally that teachers become better teachers when they have the opportunity to watch and be mentored by other successful teachers. This can only be done by allowing these teachers the time to go into other teachers' classrooms and observe those teachers and the successful things they're doing, and also giving those teachers an opportunity to collaborate in a meaningful way with those successful teachers, to learn from them and become very good experts in their curriculum content as well. So I would like for our school district to investigate more into this particular model of staff development and professional development. We see rounds, medical rounds in the medical field. I worked in the medical field as well as being an educator. How do medical students learn? As part of their residency, they do rounds. They see patients. They have the opportunity to interact with the patient. They have the opportunity to interact with their supervising physicians, to compare notes, to see how the experts are doing this. Secondly, I would like to see group-based professional development be replaced with individualized professional development, with the district providing financial support and time to complete that professional development. Let's let teachers choose the areas that they feel they need to work on, and let's give them the opportunity and the financial means to go out and do that. If there's a specific program or a specific professional development opportunity or learning opportunity that that a teacher wants to attend, let's give them the funding and the time to go ahead and do that. Now, we do that a little bit now, but I would much rather see the monies that are spent on these large group, all-day professional development programs that we have within our school district. I would much rather see those resources spent on individual teachers becoming experts in their particular field, in their particular curriculum area, by going out and choosing the professional development opportunities that they feel will best prepare them to teach their content area in their school for their students. And finally, I think it's important to recognize that our teachers are our curriculum experts. That's why they're in the classroom. That's why they've gone to school to be teachers and have spent all of these years obtaining a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, in some cases a doctoral degree in their curriculum area, is to become the content expert for their particular curriculum area. Give them the tools they need to continue to develop their expertise individually. We use a lot of what we call curriculum coaches and curriculum experts in our school. We pay them a lot of money to do that. They do play a role. I think they play a very good role at the elementary level, from what I'm told. I'm not completely convinced that curriculum specialists are as valuable at the secondary level or at the middle school level. And again, I'd like more information about that as a board member. But I really think that this, again, goes back to analyzing what is successful in our professional development, what is successful in achieving or helping our students be academically successful and achieving at the highest levels. And we have to do that, again, by continuing to analyze the data, figure out what we're doing well, stop doing what we're not doing well, and become much more targeted in allowing our teachers to become better curriculum experts in their particular field. So this is the bottom line for me to wrap up. We need to focus on the programs that are working in our school district and avoid the practice of trying every new flavor of the month initiative that comes our way. Again, I've worked in the school district for 31 years. In that 31 years, I have seen a plethora, literally dozens of academic and curriculum initiatives come across the board. I know, for example, at least 2 times in my career, we have seen Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People come through our school district. Thousands of dollars were spent on that initiative both times. And now, just a few years since the last initiative, it's basically gone away. We don't hear anything about it anymore. We need to stop that. We need to quit seeing what new thing is coming along and deciding that's what we're going to do this year. We need to focus on what works in our school district, again, because it's specific to our school district. Sometimes it might even be specific to a school. And we need to continue to focus on what works and quit changing it up all the time. Let's do what works. Let's work on improving it. And let's stop changing it up every time something new, quote, and improved comes along. These initiatives are expensive, and all too often, again, they're unproductive, resulting in a waste of money and teacher time. We need to be efficient. We need to be fiscally responsible with our academic programming and how we're using those programs and so on. Just because it's something new and improved and someone's claiming it's new and improved doesn't mean that it's going to work in our school district. And we need to be more logical about that. So to increase achievement and success in our district, I believe we need to focus on these 3 things. First of all, we need to teach students to develop and adapt personal learning strategies that work for them. I don't think we spend enough time working with our students on identifying how they learn and how they learn best. Second, we need to teach students to recognize their personal learning styles. My academic and background in doctoral work was in learning theory. I truly believe, based upon the limited research that I did for my dissertation, that we do not do a very good job of helping students identify how they learn. And I do believe different students learn differently. That's not something that is unknown to most teachers. Some students learn through writing, some students learn through kinesthetic activity, some students learn through reading, some students learn many other ways. We need to understand how our individual students learn. They need to understand how they learn as well. The research has shown that when students understand how they learn, the type of learning style that they have, they do better in school. Their grade point averages are higher, and they tend to be more successful when they understand. Likewise, we need to make sure that our teachers have the capability and have the tools they need to identify how students learn as the student progresses through their academic experience. Students can change the way they learn through their academic experience 12, 13 years in a school system. So we need to continually be monitoring this and making sure that our teachers also have the tools and ability to understand how their students are learning, and also have the ability to be able to adjust in their classrooms for the different learning styles that students may demonstrate in the classroom by using multimodal approaches to educating their students. And again, I think most teachers understand that and know how to do that already, but we need to make sure that that is happening. Finally, if you look over here to the right, I have a little graphic that says elevating all students and eliminating all gaps. We need to work to ensure that all of the puzzle pieces are fitting together to elevate all students and eliminate gaps. Education is not just what happens in the schools. It's not just what the school board does. It's not just what the district level administration does. It's not what building level administration does or what building level faculty and staff do. Education is a community effort. And along that line, we need to make sure that everyone is on the same page, that everyone that is a piece of the puzzle is being actively a part of that puzzle and allowing those pieces to fit together. So we need effective school leadership and equity initiatives to make sure that every student has the same opportunities. We need networking and partnerships. And what I mean by that is we need to be reaching out as a school board and as a school community and as a school district to the other community groups within our communities, our churches, our Boys and Girls Clubs, our YMCAs, our community recreation centers, our different clubs like Rotary, Lions, so on. All of these different groups can be very helpful in helping us to improve achievement for our students in the community. But if we don't reach out to them and say, we need your help, we want you to help us. How can you help us? Maybe you can sponsor a reading event on the weekends for students. Maybe you can sponsor a writing contest for students. We have some of that goes on already. Maybe a church can sponsor a Sunday evening study hall for students. These are the types of things that we need to be building upon and working upon to improve student achievement in our communities. Family is vital to the success of our students. And again, how can we as a school board, how can we as a school district, how can we as individual schools get the family more involved in making sure that our students are being successful and achieving? Our parents, by and large, are not involved to the level that they should be. In the 31 years that I've been a teacher, it has been a constant disappointment to see the level of parental involvement here in Horry County. We have some parents that are there all the time. Unfortunately, we have a large number of parents that we never see. That needs to change. How can we go about encouraging more parent involvement? I don't necessarily have that answer right away, but I think if we can involve the other puzzle pieces, for example, churches and other community agencies into our educational process, we can improve that parent involvement. Schools, of course, play their role, and then family and community support and institutions I've already alluded to as well. All of these institutions have to work together if we're going to improve student achievement in our schools. So those are some ideas that I have. You may agree, you may disagree. As always, I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns that you might have. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share and bring me back to full screen. I welcome your comments. I welcome your questions regarding this particular chat or anything else that you may have a question about to me as a candidate. I would encourage you to email me at BerryforBOE@gmail.com. It's BerryforBOE@gmail.com. And I will be happy to respond to those questions as quickly as possible. I'd also invite you to follow our Facebook campaign page, which again is at Berry for Board of Education, or the @ BerryforBOE. You can find us on Facebook there. So again, please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. If you disagree, I'd be happy to talk about it. But I did want to take this opportunity to share with all of you my thoughts on student achievement and success here in Horry County. Have a great time, a great week, and I look forward to sharing with you again in the near future.